Hi guys, and welcome to Python tutorial of how to create a random face generator in Python using Tkinter. Okay, as you can see, this is the supposed to be face of Kingsley. Supposing we change the name to More. Click on that. That's how More look like. Supposing is Joy. Oh, that's Joy. And what about Wale? That's how Wale is looking as well. I'm going to change it one more time. I'm going to go for Peter. There, that's Peter. That's how Peter looks. Okay, this tutorial was created using random functions. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start another one. Just close this and you guys see how to put this together. So right here, I'm just going to comment that out. And right underneath here, I'm going to call the following or import the following. So let's first of all start by importing Tkinter as TK. And import the following for labels and so on. Right, the following libraries are also imported. Now, I'm going to then create a class here first. I'm going to call that class random face arc. There we go. Just for your information, if you notice, I imported the Tkinter. This is for the graphical representation. And this is going to be for the widgets. Why this here is going to be for the image, then here for the random function, and here is to check if an image file exists. We're talking about image file exists. Before I go any further, I'm just going to create a variable in here. I'll call it image file, and in here let's create a list. Inside this list, let's say function. That's going to be an image, and this image I'm going to create an I as my variable, and in here I'm going to say dot. I'm going to go for p. Okay, the images I'm using is JPEG. Okay, but if you're using the PNG, you must enter PNG. But in my case, I'm using JPEG. And I will then use a for loop. So let's say for I in the range is going to be 1 to 11 because I only have 10 images. Let me show you guys the images that I'm going to be using. And right here, those are my images that I intend to use. You can add as many images as you want. If it's 20, that means it's going to be 1 to 21. Okay. All right, that's the name of my class. I'm going to move on now. So right underneath here now, I'm going to define my function. Let's say define, and let's get it initialized. And let's say self, comma root. Close that up, enter column, and right underneath here, I'm going to assign this into the root. So it's going to be root self.root, that is going to be equals root. Next, I'm going to then create a title for it. So let's copy that, paste that in here, and just say dot title. That is going to be, I'm just going to call that random face generator. Okay, that's my title. Next, I'm going to specify my geometry of root.geometry, and the size, let's make that about 700 by 600. There we go. Next, let's create the labels. that I intend to use. So I'm going to go first of all, let me go for the title. Paste that in there. That's going to be known as title, and title is a title label that is going to be widget is label, and this label is a child of root, and there's going to be text in there that will be displayed. That will be equals maybe welcome to random face generator, and let's define my font. And this font in this case I'm going to be using Helvetica. This is going to be about 20, and also going to make it bold, and the font type Helvetica. There we go. Run that up. There. Next I'm going to round up the whole label here. We'll do that. That's in the the pack, and that is, let's get it padded about 10. There we go. So the label is in place. Next I'm going to now create an entry. Okay, where you enter the name. I can just copy this and modify it, paste, and just change this to name entry, and this will name entry as well. And the widget is going will have to be changed to entry. Okay, and as you can see, it's a child of root, and all of these we have to go delete that. The fonts 20. Okay, I think I can make that about 16, and change the padding to about 5. And that's it. Okay, next I'm now going to create a button. So this button, let's grab hold of all of these again, paste, change this to button. That's the widget, and we can just change the name to show button. Show button. There we go. Do the same thing here. Okay, the padding of the button, I'll leave that as 10, and what do I have in there? I just call that show my face. Okay, there we go. And this is 15. Let's make this one 18. Still using Helvetica, and that is that done. The next thing is I need a label to display the image. So in the case of that label that will display the image, I can grab all of this. Just again. So this very label is going to be for the image. So let's change this to image, and change this to image as well. Okay, the padding is 10. It's a child of this. Get rid of all of this. There, that takes care of that. Okay, so get rid of this, and that is it. All done. The next thing we want to do now is I'm going to round up the whole process and just try it out before clicking the function. There we go. Okay, so let's round up the whole process. Guess you guys can see that. here. All right, let's save it. Go to File, Save As, click here, and I'm just going to call it image, random image generator 3, and save it. So let's run it and just see how the layout is going to look like. That's the layout. There's nothing in here yet. Okay, let's create a function now. So the function that will display all of this, I'm going to name it as, let's start by saying function space show random image. Here, show random image underscore random underscore image. It's going to be in self. There. Next, I'm going to add a variable here, and this variable is going to be known as self dot name underscore entry. That is it right here. So storing whatever I have in here. So let's say get whatever we have inside this entry. Okay, next I am now going to, no, let's say dot strip. See the center strip in there. Nice. So using an if statement, if name, let's say select image or selected image, selected underscore image, and is if it's equals random dot choice, where we say image field right here, put that in here. Okay, so that means whatever I have inside this list stored in here. Okay, so next I'm going to use this operator things in here now, or library. So I'm going to use that. Let's say if os dot exist, then selected image, yeah, dot exist, then we say selected image. Close that up. Yeah, say image equals image dot open dot selected image. Then I also need to define the size for this image. So I can grab all of this, paste that in here. And it's going to be image equals image dot resize, and I'm just going to make that about 450. Let's say 450 by 450. Yeah, 50 450. There we go. Okay, next I'm going to say picture dots, grab all of this image. So let's come down here and just say picture, that's going to be equals image tk dot picture image, and that's going to be image. Next we now need to create self.image. Okay, this is our self.image library here. We want it to get configured. Grab all of these dot config. Okay, image equals picture image. So in there, let's just say image equals photo. Sorry, I keep saying picture equals photo. And next, we're going to say self dot image underscore, and that is going to be dot image, and this image is going to be equals photo. Okay, so we have in here our photo takes in image.tk, taking the photo image, and that is stored inside this photo. Okay, next, if things do not go how we want, we just need the system to say select image, selected image now found. Else we just say enter, please enter your name. So come right down here and using else statement. If you did not select any image or enter your name, selected image not found. Else, please enter your name. So let's try this out. I'm going to go to File, Save. Alright, if I go to File, Save, nothing will happen because I was meant to call this very function inside the button. So I'm going to copy that and we'll call that right inside my button here. Let's come in here. So I can always call it here. It's a command. It's creating beautiful room. So command equals self dot, there we go. Let's bring this down. Space. Might as well bring this down. Okay. That is a command that calls that. Put a comma there. Right. So everything should work as expected, hopefully. And it's going to be referring to, I will grab hold of one of these images. So if I come in here now, run, save first, enter a name there. So I'm just going to call it Johnson. And let's see, I do have an error. Okay, right here. Let's see the size. What have I done wrong with the size? Okay, let's come in here. Alright, so that's my error there. This was supposed to be this very variable I'm referring to image. Instead I use uppercase. Change that to lowercase image. Think back, let's do it. So let's run it one more time. Run. Let's just use John. There we go. That's Johnny. That's how John looks like. Let's go for Mike. That's Mike. Mike is an eagle. So that's how you actually use your own image generator. You may have seen this in other social media platforms, something like this, where you enter your face and it generates what you look like. So let's say that is Terry. Oh, Terry, the main lion. What about Io? That's how Io is looking. Okay, guys, just before I go, there should be something up here. I'm just going to enter something that will say enter a name right up here. So I'm going to end it. Let's come right here. See this name? Let's copy this. Now I'm going to paste it right here. And the text that I will enter, just going to type in text here. That will be equals enter your name. There we go. Close that. Format there. And I'm going to change this one to name label. So that would be label. In fact, all of this should be label. There, and this will be label as well. Yeah, I think that should do. I'm gonna get rid of this. There. So let's save and run that. So we should be able to see the sign that says enter your name. Look at that right up there. So let's enter another name. So I'm gonna say Sammy. There we go. Look at Sammy, guys. And what about let's say Michael. There. So with that, but just before I go, I'm going to show you guys the lines of codes one more time. So take it from the top and bring it right there. And there. Bye for now, guys.